My name is Sophia Pham, and this is Gaga Gossip. Although Tina's children have been named in numerous sources, I will refer to them as S and K, as they were both minors at the time of this case. This case is disturbing and extremely tragic, to say the least. We don't kink or fetish shame here. However, what we do know is that some fetishes or kinks are more common or mainstream as others. For example, foot fetishes, maybe BDSM, maybe even roleplay. But what we don't talk about is leaves. Yes, leaves from trees. The ones that fall in autumn and sprout in spring. This is the story of the leaf killer. Hello, this is 911. What's your emergency? Hi, I'm a manager at Dairy Queen, and one of my employees, Tina Hermann, didn't show up for work today. It's completely out of her character, and I'm really concerned. The sheriffs already knew about Tina Hermann. She had a turbulent relationship with her boyfriend, Greg Borders. This prompted them to perform a welfare check. However, they only checked outside Tina's home, and they didn't find anything out of the ordinary, so they left it as is. The next morning arrives, and Tina's friend Stephanie has a boyfriend. He too calls 911. 911, what's your emergency? My girlfriend, Stephanie Sprang, she's missing. Stephanie had planned to help Tina move out of her home the day before, but now they're both missing. Tina had two kids, S13 and K11. The day before, the same day that the Dairy Queen manager called the first time, they were in school. The second day, when Stephanie's boyfriend called, they weren't in school. Another 911 call came that same morning. The Dairy Queen manager called again, but this time from inside Tina's home. She said, "There's blood everywhere." When authorities showed up, they found three separate blood pools. They also found splatter marks and drag marks in the living room and in two of the bedrooms. The drag marks led them to a bathroom with a tub. Inside the tub was 2 inches of blood, as well as tissue matter. This led the authorities to believe that dismemberment occurred in the tub. At this time, Tina, her two kids, and her friend Stephanie were nowhere to be found. Were they even still alive? According to the little evidence, aka the tub, it didn't seem like anything good happened. They also found two separate pairs of bloody footprints, one belonging to possibly the perpetrator, but another belonging to shoes that matched a pair of shoes in S's closet. Was she complicit? Was she involved somehow, or was she coerced into doing something that she didn't want to do? Was she also a victim? There was no way of knowing. There were no bodies. In the kitchen, there were grocery bags and a receipt. The date read November 10th, and it was time-stamped 12 p.m. If you remember, on the 10th, the Dairy Queen manager called for the first time. Tina's shift was due to start at 4 p.m. that day. So we can assume that from the time she got home from the grocery store at 12 to 4 p.m., something bad had happened. At first, authorities looked at Tina's boyfriend, Greg Borders, which made sense because they had a turbulent relationship, but he had an airtight alibi. He was working between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. on the 10th, and according to him, he was never violent with Tina. Their relationship never escalated that far. At this point, it cleared his name, but investigators had no other leads. As they continued to comb through the house for any sort of evidence, they stumbled across the garage. Inside the garage were garbage bags and tarps in a Walmart shopping bag. They thought that this belonged to the perpetrator. They went to their local Walmart to see if they could find out who bought these things. When they combed through the security footage, what they saw was an individual male walking calmly and ever so nonchalantly as if this was his local grocery store, buying the garbage bags and tarps on November 10th, a little past midnight. He wasn't in a rush or confused or seemed in any sort of distress. Was this his first time? To another shopper, he would just look like your average man getting household supplies. But the truth was far more disturbing. The outside security cameras caught him going into a car. They were able to trace that car to a Matthew Hoffman. Coincidentally, he lived less than half a mile from Tina's residence, and he was previously employed as a tree trimmer. It wasn't until the 14th that the police obtained a no-knock warrant. SWAT went into swift action and immediately apprehended Matthew Hoffman at his residence. Inside his house were numerous piles of leaves, one of which was so big that it could conceal a body. To their surprise, there was no body. In his basement, they found another pile of leaves on top of a bed. And on top of that pile of leaves was 13-year-old S, bound and gagged, but she was alive. They also found a blackjack club and a heavy-duty knife that they believed to be the murder weapon. According to what S told the investigators, her and Kay got home from school on the 10th, and they saw blood. They called out for their mom, and they were met with silence. Instead of seeing their mom, they saw a stranger. This prompted S to run away and hide in a room. She locked the door, only for it to be bust down by Matthew Hoffman. He put a knife to her chest and told her, "If you scream, I will kill you." He then kidnapped her and took her to his house of leaves, where he would SA her on top of a bed of leaves. Authorities made it clear to Hoffman that he wouldn't receive the death penalty if he told them where the other bodies were. Eventually, he caved in. He told investigators that this was a burglary that went wrong. He had scoped out Tina and her house for a couple of days, and he decided he wanted to rob her. He was robbing the house when all of a sudden she came home. This derailed his plans and caused him to panic. He had no choice but to kill her. Since Stephanie was due to help her friend move out of the home that same day, she too showed up, just to meet the same fate as Tina. Kay wasn't taken with us. Instead, he was killed in his home. Authorities' suspicions were confirmed when Hoffman revealed that he dismembered Tina, Stephanie, and Kay, stuffed their body parts in garbage bags, and put the garbage bags in a hollowed-out tree. When Tina, Stephanie, and Kay were found, Hoffman had no remorse or regret. Instead, he asked for picture proof of the hollowed-out tree and that it wasn't damaged when they recovered the remains. He already had a rap sheet. It ranged from burglary and arson all the way to theft. He had even served an 8-year prison sentence before. When he was released from prison the first time, it was reported that he was seen trapping and killing squirrels. He was even seen inside trees, like perched on trees, for numerous hours. It appeared that he had what we call dendrophilia, or the sexual attraction to leaves and/or trees. Less than a year later, January 6, 2011, S would face her assaulter and the murder of her family in court. To do such a thing is nothing short of remarkable and extremely brave. In a statement she wrote that was read by the prosecutor, John Thatcher, quote, "This has changed my whole life, and the life of my families too," end quote. Hoffman pleaded guilty to the 3 murders, as well as the rape and kidnapping of S, to which he would spend his life in prison without the possibility of parole. I hope S is and has gotten the help and resources that she needs to heal. To experience such events is nothing short of traumatic and just straight out of a horror movie. But I also hope she knows she made her family proud by telling their stories and putting Hoffman behind bars forever to never see a tree again or hurt another human being. I'm Sophia Pham, and this was Gaga Gossip.